was once a beautiful cloud-laden oasis. All the Care Bears loved to play games and hang out with each other. They were a tight-knit clan until out of nowhere came a family from far, far away. The events that followed would change Caroline forever. The zombie apocalypse had reached Caroline, and only one spacecraft of a few Care Bears was able to escape the carnage. Unbeknownst to them, their journey had just begun. If you like tales of double agents, evil geniuses, heroes, and who could forget zombies, you cannot miss Curly Bears.
Greetings. I hope you enjoyed our trailer for a new television series called Barely Zombies. Pun intended. You know the trailer is legit because of the incredibly deep and professional tone of the narrator. This is our sales pitch for the program, and we really aren't sure why we are doing one because we know that the concept alone is enough to give us 10 seasons in primetime television. But here it is anyways. We're going to talk about the plot, characters, setting, how we came up with the name, the brainstorming process, the licensing fees, and our marketing demographic. So enjoy.
So our group decided to take a new angle at the whole zombie phenomenon that's currently happening. A quick summary of the plot and storyline. Basically, our story begins with the Jetsons who are on vacation to Care-a-Lot. On the way there, they have to stop and get gas, and their beloved dog Astro bites a intruder or an aggressor because he thinks he's coming after George. What they don't know is that Astro actually bites someone who's infected with this zombie virus, and he is slowly starting to turn into a zombie. So the Jetsons fly to Care-a-Lot, the home of the Care Bears, where they're going to vacation, and everything's going fine. They're meeting some of the characters that we'll find out more about later, when all of a sudden Astro fully turns into an evil zombie. So it's not as much of a classic zombie where it's brain dead. He's actually intelligent, but he's just absolutely evil. And he decides he's going to wipe out all the Care Bears. So he systematically kills most of them and also turns a lot of them. But the small group of Care Bears make it away from this slaughter, and they're saved by what's kind of like an intergalactic space police, kind of like the Star Trek Enterprise. Comes and saves them before the whole planet turns into zombies. So they save them and they fly them away to a new planet. Unfortunately, they weren't really supposed to pick up the Care Bears to begin with. They're kind of violating a law by changing the course of a planet. So they have to take it to a far off planet that's actually just like Tatooine from Star Wars, so it's a very desert planet. When they land, they find out that Astro is actually hitched a ride within the ship, so there's a battle that takes place. One of the main characters is actually bit. He doesn't turn just right then. They get him off and get him into the town while Astro is stunned. So the story then picks up in a bar in the town where they're trying to decide what they can do, where this other character comes up who is actually Thor, comes up and starts talking to the bear who's infected, and the bear turns and attacks Thor and infects Thor. So as you can see, everyone's kind of getting infected now on this planet. So it turns into this kind of battle royale where it's the good faction versus the bad zombie faction, and the good Care Bears in the end seem to have won. Their old friend, who's now evil, they think they've killed him and killed off all of his cohorts. But the whole story kind of ends with them rebuilding a castle in Care-a-Lot on this desert planet to start life again. But also there's a group of the evil zombie bears and zombie characters who are building a castle too, that are basically setting up the whole story to be a battle between these two groups.
The characters for Care Bears
are George, Jane, Judy, and Elroy Jetson, their dog Astro, a battle cat, a set of good Care Bears, a set of zombie Care Bears, and Thor. The battle cat is where the zombie virus starts. He gives it to Astro, and then Astro bites a Care Bear, and that's where the Care Bears get the zombie virus. Thor ends up being basically a hitman for Blackheart Care Bear. The good Care Bears consist of 3 Care Bears and Dranko Bear, who is a double agent Care Bear. Officer Rex Johnson is the first bear. He's a police officer bear who takes his job way too seriously. He's always seen in his uniform. He's always wearing aviator sunglasses. He doesn't give any warnings, and he treats all crimes the same. Whether they're jaywalking or murder, he gives them the same attention. In his free time, he builds model airplanes, brews his own beer, and watches anything about cops or crimes that he can find on Netflix. He has a wife named Madge, who is a stay-at-home mother. She has 2 kids. One is Reginald, who is 10, and the other is Regina, and she is 15. Messy Bear is a teenager. They grew up in the bully environment. He's very disorderly. He's careless. He lacks judgment on what is right or wrong. He is overconscious about what the other bears say about him and what the other bears treat him like. But his misjudgment usually drags him into troubles that he gets into. Eco Bear, she's a green bear. Cares about the environment. She's symbolic around everything that involves the earth. She cares greatly about the environment, and she's a sweetheart of a bear. However, when she senses the environment is being destroyed in any way, she turns vicious and attacks the offender. This mode of her can be effectively utilized in the battle against the zombies. If needed, her secret weapon is a biodegradable liquid that she squirts from her paws. Not only does the liquid burn on contact, but it creates a cloud of odorless gas that affects anyone with a close 1-mile radius. And then the double agent bear Dranko. Dranko is a 35-year-old Care Bear who is still an undergrad, living in student housing. He still parties like he's a young 20-year-old bear. Dranko loves playing practical jokes on everyone. He hates the establishment, but hates hippies too. Dranko has decided that he is going to be a double agent and work both sides of the Care Bear war. The zombies have agreed for him not to be infected so that the normal Care Bears will know he's working for them also. He sometimes gives wrong information to each side as a joke. He wears a John Belushi toga emblem on his chest. The zombie bears have 4 bears under their group. American Heart Bear, who turns into Blackheart, A-Bomb Bear, Vamp Bear, and Harmony Bear, who turns into Chaos Bear. American Heart was the most patriotic Care Bear. He loves Camelot, freedom, guns, kicking ass, and has no patience for those unlike him. He was born into meager means but worked his way to the top and now enjoys a life of extravagance. He has never forgotten his roots, though, and he still has a taste for cheap beer and anything grilled, preferably something he shot himself. He has been divorced 3 times and consistently complains about his ex-wife stealing all his money through alimony. His chest symbol was an American eagle of freedom, and either helped his friends or attacked his foes. Nobody else thought that American Heart would turn into a zombie, but somehow he got bitten and became a zombie bear who turned into Blackheart, the most evil zombie bear. He devotes every waking hour towards plotting the destruction of Caroline. He has no intentions of coexisting with other Care Bears and wants to convert them all to zombies. In his mind, the zombies are the master race and they should rule the world. His chest symbol turned into a black heart. It emits dark magic and causes Care Bears to fall into a deep sleep full of nightmares. Then there's A-Bomb Bear. A-Bomb was an ultra smart, ultra brainiac bear who was bullied by the normal Care Bears for being so smart. When a small Care Bear cub began to make fun of him, A-Bomb snapped and purposely got infected with the zombie virus. He now uses his smarts for evil. He's an expert in munitions and explosives. In addition, he's a brilliant tactician. He originally had a book as his emblem, but now that he has switched sides, he has a General Patton-like bear on his chest. Vamp Bear is a vampire bear who loves to drink the good of the good bears. He sleeps in a coffin and also has a coffin emblem on his chest. And then there's Harmony Bear, who turns into Chaos Bear. Harmony Bear loves peace and helping other Care Bears smooth out their differences. She can even sense unspoken thoughts, which she uses to aid in helping to ease tension among other bears. She is a peacemaker whose symbol is smiling flowers and multicolored petals. But after the zombie infection, she is now part of the dark side. She uses her ability to read other bears' minds to her advantage by manipulating them into their deep thoughts. She turns healthy bears against each other, thus creating situations that make it easy for the zombie Care Bear army to claim them. Her symbol is changed to a dark brown wilting flower with no petals. These characters can ever expanding because every time a good bear turns evil, it kind of changes their character profile a little bit. And these characters are endless. As many bears as you want to add to the good side or the bad side, you could add them. Astro is continuing on now that he's an infected dog. He's kind of a shadowy figure. He's no longer like the old cheerful Astro that everybody loved and enjoyed on the Jetsons. So now he kind of is a shadowy figure who kind of lurks in the darkness and just kind of pops up every once in a while. Thor is Blackheart's right-hand man. He's kind of like Blackheart's hitman, and he's willing to do anything for Blackheart that Blackheart can do. And these were the characters for the show.
So there are 4 main settings in the first couple episodes of Barely Zombies. The first setting is Care-a-Lot, and Care-a-Lot is the land of the Care Bears. So this is a very happy, bright place. It's up in the clouds. There's, the sun's always shining. There's lots of rainbows and stars around. And then you have the Red Desert Planet, which is where the Care Bears have to go after they're forced out of Care-a-Lot. And the Red Desert Planet is just like it sounds, just red sand and stone for as far as the eye can see. There's no bodies of water, no vegetation, nothing. And then you have New Care-a-Lot Castle. Now, New Care-a-Lot Castle is the Care Bears' attempt at sort of recreating Care-a-Lot in their current situation. So it's a very bright and happy and hopeful place. And finally, there's Fear-a-Lot Castle. Now, Fear-a-Lot Castle is the exact opposite of New Care-a-Lot Castle in Care-a-Lot. It's dark and dangerous and gloomy. This is the compound that the zombies have built to house their zombie horde and give them an opportunity to come up with all of these evil plans to completely overtake the Care Bears.
The next process in creating our show was to come up with a name for the show. Each student in our group selected 10 ideas for their name of the show. There were 9 students, so we generated 90 different ideas. For the name of the show, we really wanted it to be creative, attention-grabbing, descriptive, and precise and to the point. For the name of the show, we came up with Barely Zombies, B-E-A-R-L-Y. We really wanted to use sort of a play on words between bear, B-E-A-R, and barely, B-A-R-E-L-Y. We feel that the name, it really adequately sums up the show, and we think that it'll really generate interest among viewers. So immediately when they hear the name, they'll be drawn to it and they'll really be interested and want to see what all the show has to offer.
Brainstorming process. We have a 2 brainstorming exercise. In the first one, we use the email for communication and Google Docs for documenting. Since we have 9 team members, we pre-identified the 9 popular TV categories. Each member lead on one category. We focus on the high quality and doable ideas. In this traditional static environment, we ended with the 37 ideas in total. After in-class feedback session on February 8th, we redid our brainstorming exercise. It is a 3-round exercise. Each round requires each team member to contribute minimum 25 ideas within 2 days. Use the Google Hangout for creating dynamic interaction environment and use the Google Doc for documenting. Non-constraints on the topics, it can be from any culture, for any audience, and in any format. The exercise ended with the 741 ideas plus previous one. Total, we have 778 ideas. Then, through the voting for each role, followed by deep diving team discussion, then made the final team decision. That are Care Bear and Zombie. The next step is the prototype development. Through the individual research and multiple team meetings, 2 actors groups are identified. One is the main character, such as the Echo Bear, American Bear, Honey Bear, Kiosk Bear, Messy Bear, Drunk O. The other one is guest stars, such as Darth Vader, Jetsons, Leon O, Captain America. Care Allowed Castle is selected as the story background setting and location. With the team efforts, 2 prototype episode samples were developed. Then we show them to our children. The setting, characters, and story development capture their attention immediately. They like both of them.
To request use of the Care Bears trademark, we have to contact American Greetings Properties, or AGP for short, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. AGP is the intellectual property and outbound licensing division of American Greetings. We will be requesting a character or entertainment licensing arrangement for the use of the Care Bears brand for our TV show, Barely Zombies. Before an agreement can be considered, we have to communicate the specific purpose, which is the TV show, of course, the geographic area or market, and finite time period, the time period that we expect the show to run. Royalties are expected to be between 3 and 15%, which depends on the product category. As we proceeded with our research on licensing, there were a few concerns that we noted. For one, there was not a lot of information available in the public domain on the specific requirements for licensees. This is not a major issue, however. This would just require us to contact AGP to obtain this information. We do expect that we would have a difficult time getting the request approved due to the proposed content of our show. Remember, our show involves zombies, flesh eating, virus infections, and adult humor. This is the farthest away from the happy, friendly, colorful, beautiful type of images and content that the Care Bears brand brings to mind. The Care Bears appears to be a well-targeted and established kid tween friendly brand. As a matter of fact, the design of the AGP website emanates a feeling of happiness. The first sentence on the About Us page reads, "In Cleveland, Ohio, there's a happy studio called AG Properties where good ideas begin." We would need to do quite a bit of marketing to AGP to demonstrate that there's a large enough potential market out there for this type of content. Maybe we could convince them that there's a way to extend their brand into the teen age group. More importantly, we would need to show that there is sufficient revenue generating potential for both parties.
And lastly, we're going to talk about our target demographic. It's going to be for males between the ages of 18 and 34, who are particularly interested in the kind of cartoon or shows that are on what we call Adult Swim, which is on Cartoon Network, usually after prime time between 10 o'clock and midnight. Some of the shows that we would piggyback off of would be South Park, Archer, anything else on Adult Swim, Family Guy, Robot Chicken, a lot of those kind of cartoons that are really kind of zany and spontaneous, off the wall, and don't really have a real plot. Our show would be different from these other shows in that we would have a real plot. There would be a continuing storyline, whereas Family Guy and doesn't really have a storyline. Robot Chicken is just a series of little 30-second clips that are really, really random. And then South Park is more of a kind of a satire on social and political issues. So that's kind of how our show would be different. So we would offer something different to the Adult Swim shows that are already available out there. So with that, we hope you liked our presentation, and have a good day.